to our second session. It's absolutely great to have you all back here, and I'm really excited to see you all again. It looks like with almost everybody, so I'm going to suggest we give a warm welcome to all our fantastic circles here. So I'm going to unmute you. Nicola's passed on her magic powers to me for this session, so we can all say hello.
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 And then hello to Spear.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Could we just start with circus members? Have a big wave from everybody in circus. And where's our angelic members of the Halo circle? Yay. Hopefully you're if you're in gallery view, or even it's not in gallery view, switch to gallery view. And hello, Colin. Good day to you all.
Hey.
I'm sure I keep seeing the same person that Josh. Have you waved to every group so far?
No, I have to keep my hands up, otherwise it focuses on the window and no one can see.
And a big thumbs up to my Cycle Circle, to everybody from Cycle Circle. Hey.
Hi.
All here. Fantastic. And a big welcome to Globe. Globe. Hey. And of course, last but not least, I want to say hello to everybody else from the WOL team who's in the house today. So we've got John. John's in the house.
Woohoo!
We've got Kat. And we've got Adam. So welcome all of you to our second session. I'm glad you've all made it here. It's fantastic, and it's been brilliant to see just some of the chat on Slack and on Twitter, and starting to feel like getting to know some of you really, which is fantastic. So Nicola has passed on her superpowers, so I am going to just mute you all whilst we get started. The format for today is exactly the same as last week, so hopefully it'll start to feel a bit more familiar and you can all get in the groove. I know last week was probably maybe felt a bit uncomfortable because it was unusual for many people, so hopefully we can all sort of start to relax. Obviously, if at any point you're still unsure of anything, do let us know so we can help you as soon as possible. We're all online here on chat and also on Slack, so just ping us a message. So I'll hand over to John shortly, who can talk through some of the tips for getting the most out of your circle today. And then we'll go back into your breakout rooms for your circle meeting for an hour. And then we'll finish the session, like last week, with John talking through some of the tips for how to coach the circle. Again, if you've got any technical difficulties, we will be sat here in this main room throughout. So if you get pinged out of your room, don't worry, we'll be here ready to put you back in. And again, if you message us on Slack or on chat, we'll be there to help you. General questions, comments, reflections, chat, please do continue to share on Slack. It's great. All the feedback is really, really gratefully received. So continue to share. And really it's up to you how you decide to use your circle channel. So we would recommend, it's a fantastic place to record your tasks as you go along. I know a couple of groups last week used it to record their goals, and that was a great way for them to, one, feel that sense of accountability within their circle, which is really helpful in terms of helping you make progress. And it also helps you to just make contributions towards each other and to keep a record. So that would be our recommendation, but that's up to you. All groups, bar one, have now assigned their circle coach, and you've all got a timekeeper. So I would recommend that the circle that hasn't, maybe just by over Slack in the next 10 minutes, you could just agree who's going to take that role on. And again, if anyone is at all uncomfortable or unsure about how to access the materials or what that role entails, please, we are here to help support you. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to John. See you later.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, I love this gallery view. And I just learned that there are 2 pages of it. So when I hover, I can go to the other page and see everybody's face, which is, I don't know, there's something cool about it. Okay, couple of things before we go to the breakout rooms. And these aren't so much tips. I want to be clearer this week on why do you have 12 weeks of coaches guides for a 6-week course. And what's the mapping? And here's the reason why I did that, which I think still makes sense, but I'm going to be clear on what you need to do and how you use the 12-week guides. Why we kept them is because many of you, if not all, are going to form another circle with other people and use those guides. So I wanted you to use and have access to the same materials that you would use or that you would help other people use. Right? So I didn't want to create something that you would never see again. I wanted you to have the coaches guides be specific to each of the 12 weeks. Now, having said that, we condensed this purposefully so that it would be more likely that people could make it, and so that we could do longer sessions with coaching each time. So for today, today is week 3 and week 4, but what does that really mean? It means that I cherry picked the kind of the most important exercises, and we scrunched the discussion a bit, and we put them into 1 hour. And so referring to the agenda, and each time, each week, we're going to tell you, here's how you allocate your time, as best you can. It's a guide, and the timekeeper can kind of nudge you if need be. The 3 things today, you're going to do a check-in, which I'm going to talk about in a second. You're going to do the pay yourself exercise, which is about time management. There are 2 kinds of contributions that I scrunched into 1 exercise, and we'll talk about that. And then there's reviewing your online presence. Right? So it's a lot. It's a lot, and you're going to be conscious of time. I'm going to walk through those slowly. Just imagine you're going to be in your breakout room, and here's what you do along the way. Number 1, the check-in. So check-ins are a classic meeting device. It's good for any kind of meeting. And what it does is it does 2 things. 1, it signals to everybody the meeting is started, pay attention, which we could probably all use at work. Right? Number 2 is it's a classic emotional safety or psychological safety behavior that starts off right away by saying everybody has a voice. So it's not a long discussion. It's just if there's one question you might ask, and this is in the coach's guides, it's what's going on for you that people in the circle might need to know. Right? That's your question. What's going on for you that people in the circle might need to know? So it could be, hey, had a great week. I did this and this, or it was tough this week. I really didn't accomplish as much as I wanted to, or I was sick. Right? It's just 2 minutes. And if you're a coach, you can signal to other people by going first what that 2 minutes is like. Not a lot. It's not a hugely interactive discussion. It's a check-in. Then you're going to do the pay yourself exercise, and it's largely it's about viewing this as this practice, not just these meetings, but this practice as investing a little bit of time in yourself and making people more mindful of how they apportion their time and just how little they do invest in themselves. The blog post is useful if you haven't read it because it lays out a couple of different things. But number 1, you're going to just, in this case, if you've got something to do. So for example, for my circle meeting last night, I have a thing I want to do. It's so easy for me not to do that thing. And so I'm just going to allocate 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm going to put it in my calendar. It'll get done. So that's the point of that exercise. Try and do at least that. What is one thing that you may not be able to do in this circle meeting, but one thing that you want to do, and you're just going to put it in your calendar. Next thing, I've scrunched together 2 exercises, one from week 3 and one from week 4. They're both about making small contributions. One's about offering gratitude, and one's about sharing a resource that you found useful. Okay, so they're kind of the same. I mean, they're the same in that they're lightweight, simple things you can share with somebody on your network. As you go through that portion of today, you just know that, hey, that this description of the gratitude exercise in week 3 and of the sharing a useful resource in week 4, right? So you won't get confused. But it's all about making another simple contribution to somebody in your network. It's another small step. The last exercise, and again, it can feel like a lot. Just think of it as just going to review a simple concept and do one small thing today. Not a lot. It's not a lot of interactive discussion other than whatever will help you to get that one thing done. The last one is about reviewing your online presence. Keep this simple. This is not the time to like update your LinkedIn profile or rewrite it, right? Something that we could probably all benefit from, but it's like a big scary beast about what do we say about ourselves? All this exercise is asking you to do is say, Google yourself, where are you? Where is this online presence? And make one tiny change. And the last part is just a check out exercise, which is a simple question. Oh, hey, what are you gonna do this week? 30 seconds each. I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna focus on that, I'm gonna try and do this. Great. It might be the thing that you put in your calendar at the very beginning, right? Nice and simple. So that's today. Check in, this pay yourself exercise, which is really just a little calendar exercise, and you being thoughtful of a time decision, like I'm going to invest in myself and here's when I'm going to do it. This making this contribution, gratitude and or a useful resource, and then this simple listing of your online presence where it is and adding one change. And I'm going to give you my tips for today. I've been doing this for now, it seems like a long time. And I had a week 4 of my circle meeting last night. So I was with Anne-Marie, who's in the TED Talk. I was with Mara, I was with Eve. I'm still learning stuff. Here's what happened. So quick story, and then I'm gonna let you go to your breakout rooms. So we're in our group, and we're friends. We've worked together, we've known each other a long time. Anne-Marie's in London, Mara's in New Zealand, Eve's in Manhattan. And Eve's is her first circle, and she says, it's not really working for me. Like I thought I would be doing more, looking forward to more than we were. And so we talked about it a little bit. And here's what happened. What happened in our circle is we're so familiar that we use it as a time to talk to each other. And we spend a lot of time talking to each other. And we're not doing anything. And so we said, okay, time out. Let's just do the online presence exercise. And we talked, and we did a thing. And what I wanted, the thing I wanted to plant in you today is make sure in your circle meeting that you actually do something. And it's okay to use your time together as a working meeting. Because I think a lot of times when we're in a meeting setting, we're used to filling the air time with conversation. You don't have to. Like, it's really actually better if you do the exercise at the same time. You can do it quietly, and then you might have some discussion about it. But here's 2 reasons why I suggest that and why it's so important. 1, there's a little part of your brain called the striatum that is deeply connected to motivation. So when they found out when it's damaged, like you just sit there, you just don't do anything. Everything else works, but you just don't have any spark. It's these little steps give you a sense of control, and it lights up your striatum. So when Eve, in the meeting, went to her LinkedIn profile on the phone and added one line that said certified life coach. I mean, she has a job in a big company, but when she added that one line that described this other part of herself that she really cared about, that lights up her striatum, right? And she did it in the meeting with us where she got other kinds of reinforcement. The second reason why you do it is because the progress principle is a very important thing. So it was Emily, I think, who wrote on Slack, like, gee, I didn't do as much as I wanted to do this week. And instead of beating yourself up about it, do one small thing. Like if you're struggling, like shrink what you're trying to do so that you can unlock next steps. So the two thoughts I want to leave you with before you go to your breakout room are try and do the actual exercises. Make that one contribution right there in the meeting. You could share it. Hey, I made one. That's kind of cool. Or update, add that one sentence to your online presence. Those little steps for now are kind of key to unlocking some bigger steps later on, including lighting up parts of your brain associated with motivation. Okay? If you have questions or you're stuck at all, use the Slack rooms, and then there are people watching those to help you. And then we're going to come back together after the breakout room, just talk a little bit about as a circle coach, like if you wear your other hat and now you're going to go spread these, I'm going to reinforce what you would do and what kinds of problems you might see. So for the people who are identified as circle coaches today, and you're kind of playing that role, there are coaches guides for week 3 and week 4. You feel free to consult those. And if you've got questions along the way, just pop them into Slack or into Zoom, and I'll answer them in the second part of the session. Okay, if you're ever stuck in the next hour, just reach out electronically. But for now, Eve, I'll turn it back to you. We'll go to the breakout rooms for an hour.
Okay, thanks, John. So I'm just going to open your rooms now, and the message should pop up. If you really are stuck, you can always press the ask for help, and I'll appear like magic in your room. Have a good circle. See you later. Bye. It's so lovely when the screen just fills with all these faces. It's brilliant.
It's like fireworks.
Yes, they just keep popping up. It's fantastic. Yay. Fantastic. Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a really positive and productive circle session and have had some fun. It's been brilliant just seeing some of the shares as well on Slack and on Twitter. So look forward to continuing the conversation over the next week. And I'm just going to hand over to John now.
Great, thank you. 3 quick things. We're going to mix it up a little bit. So in the future sessions, we're going to front load the meetings, building on what we started today with a very detailed walkthrough of what you're going to experience, whether you're as a member or a coach, doesn't matter. So we're going to nice detailed walkthrough at the beginning of each of these calls about what you'll go through. That will just select a subset from the coach's guides. If you have questions now, like, hey, we just went through this hour and I'm confused about this, or we struggled with this, ask them now. And odds are, given the time, we'll answer them in the general Slack channel. But we wanted everyone to feel like, look, if something just happened in our circle, we want to do something with it, right? So we could get, whether it's a question or a comment or an issue or a great thing, like feel free to share it now. You can share it in the Zoom chat, or you could share it in the general Slack channel, and we'll respond to it. Okay, so that the format for today and for the other 4 sessions is going to be detailed walkthrough. You'll have your hour, and then we can do some kind of selective dealing of questions. If we have time in the final part of the meeting, we'll deal with it then, but we'll certainly handle all of it in the Slack channel so that everybody can see it. One last thing before I give you my kind of tip for the week, which is not everyone's a big Twitter fan, but for those of you who are, just on the Slack channel, let people know what your Twitter handle is. And I want to follow every one of you. Like, not that's the biggest gift I'll ever give you, I hope. But it's just a simple, lightweight, nice thing. And so that when, Tanya wrote a blog, I saw it and I really liked it. And when Caroline shared a picture, she did a screenshot of the course, like, it was cool. Little lightweight things, cost us nothing. So if you're that person, Josh, I saw Josh the other day, Josh to me, Josh built a movement where we used to work, so like incredibly capable community builder. And it was his first tweet. And I was like, oh my gosh. And even, so it's just lovely. So point being, hey, if you've got a Twitter handle or you want to have one, share it on Slack so that people in your circle, myself, and anybody here in this course could interact with you and keep interacting, right? Okay, here's my thing for this week. So, imagine again, you're in this, you've just gone through 4 weeks of this if you're in the 12-week circles. And some people are like, hey, I'm not sure about my goal, or I need to be doing more, or I thought this would happen. Particularly as a coach, but it regards everybody. Like, when in doubt, the theme is shrink the change. Like that's the thought I want you to have in your head as you go throughout this week and really almost every week, which is any progress is good. And if you're stuck, if you're just not making progress, if you feel like you're okay, make it, unburden yourself, was the language I think I used in the circle guide. And you can help each other do that so that somebody takes a small step. And if, for those of you who saw the TED talk, I talked about the piano teacher who sends the email, or it's Kath Barton shared today on Slack, how she just was a bit more, just a bit less reluctant, a bit more confident to reach out to somebody for her work on dementia. My friend Barbara, who took weeks to reach out to her genealogy community and just to send a note, right? Any small little thing. So if you're struggling, if you're facing resistance, right? It's your brain trying to protect you from failing. And you kind of have to trick yourself, and the way you do that is, instead of, this big saber-toothed tiger, like your brain can't tell the difference between what's something that's trying to attack you and what's just giving a talk that's important to you. Like, your brain has the same kind of biochemical response, which is to fight or flight. To short circuit that, you just touch the treadmill, shrink the change, whatever metaphor you want to use, so that you can take any small step that you feel comfortable taking, and now you can light up your striatum, feel like you're in control, like you're empowered, and then you can take the next step, right? And that's the theme for this coming week. Shrink the change so that you actually do something, and doing anything is better than nothing. And it might even be as simple as, oh, well, I found some Twitter handles here in the course. I'm going to hit the follow button, right? You light up that little part of your brain and you take a little step. If there are, over the course of the week, someone today asked a question, and I mentioned how it could be framed as a contribution. And genuinely, that's the way I feel. So when you say, hey, this happened, what would you do? How could, it shows me, it shows the people who are coaching the course, Eve, Kath, the rest of the group, Nicola, that you're engaged. And that makes us feel good. So use that. We shied away from Q&A at the end of the course because we thought it was unwieldy and it might take too much time. But online, it's easy, and every question can get answered, and it's kind of cool. I like waking up and seeing activity in Slack and interacting with you, and I think that's part of the value, not just you to me, but you to each other. So I guess one more time, please feel free to use that so that we can all advance our practice, including me. And as you go over the course of the next week, don't feel burdened by a bunch of homework. Don't feel burdened by a bunch of activity. Just take whatever small step for you feels good, lights up that little part of your brain, and makes you feel positive about taking some next step. And with that, that's it for me in this week. I love that people are already sharing their Twitter connections. I'm going to be following a bunch of people. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Eve, any other closing comments or remarks to make?
Only just to say thank you all so much for coming on this journey with us, because it genuinely is, as John said, we are tweaking and changing this one small step at a time as we go along, and we really do value all those little feedbacks that you are providing, really, so that we can keep on changing it and tweaking it to meet your needs. And it's going to be different for each circle and each individual, and it will be on future courses. So please let us know. And it's been fantastic. I don't know if you've all got on gallery view, but I just love flicking through and seeing you all. So it's wonderful. And I look forward to seeing you all equally on Twitter and elsewhere. So have a fantastic week. I hope you all feel you make some small progress in the direction you want to, and manage to make a bit of time for you. So
thank
on
you.
that note, we'll say goodbye.
Thank you.
Well done all for carving out today, and see you next week.
Bye. Have a great week.
Bye.